I gave y'all all opportunity in the world. I mean, if they didn't even do it the 14th, before they even put him in the ground, they had the opportunity to come to my doorstep and say, Miss Wade, we getting ready to bury your son. I had to buy him back from the state. I had to pay $250 just to get his body rights back.
Tonight, after a mother was left in the dark after searching for her son for almost 6 months with no information on where he could be.
Now she found out he was killed the same night she last saw him. 3 Side's Nathan Lee has her exclusive interview. Nathan?
172 days is how long Dexter Wade has waited until she was told by a detective her son, Dexter Wade, was killed just 4 blocks from her home. This comes after she reached out to his friends, Jackson Police Department, and multiple detectives. Wade filed a missing persons report on March 14th, 9 days after she last saw Dexter. She would not receive any information on her son until August 24th. That was when a detective told her that Dexter was killed by a JPD cruiser while he was walking on the interstate. Wade was also told that her son was buried at the Pomper Cemetery before she knew where he was or if he was alive.
Wade, the mother of 37-year-old Dexter Wade, said that she last saw her son on March 5th after he left her home with a friend. Batterstein eventually reported him missing to the Jackson Police Department on March 14th after days passed without hearing from him. Batterstein says that an investigator took her statement and she sent him and another investigator a photo of her son, requesting that they put his picture on TV. She says that she kept in regular contact with the police, asking for updates, but every time she did that, she was told that ultimately they had no information. Batterstein eventually learned that Dexter was killed while walking across Interstate 55 when a Jackson police SUV driven by an off-duty officer struck him. The collision occurred an hour after Dexter left his mother's home on March 5th. Dexter was reportedly without identification when he died, but he did have a prescription bottle in his pocket. A Howns County coroner investigator reported that they were able to identify Dexter's identity and the next of kin, but eventually forwarded the information to the Jackson Police Department on March 9th. However, despite knowing this, they refused and did not call Dexter's mom. Despite them knowing Dexter's identity, they refused to contact Bernstein. And I think that is just so heartbreaking. He had a prescription bottle in his pocket, so they could not say, we don't know who he is. They could have contacted the mother, knowing that she went to the police station repeatedly, knowing that she had been calling constantly trying to find out the whereabouts of her son. They knew where he was the entire time, but they failed to contact her.
We just received from the city of Jackson, officials say that the investigation found no malicious intent by Jackson police staff.
Wow, even the news reporter couldn't even get his words out. Did y'all hear how he was stumbling over his words? Come on, this man knew this was a whole crack of bullshit, but he was only reporting what they said. But I found that kind of funny because he couldn't even get it out right. Go figure. I can't imagine how Bernstein felt as she was led down this dark, desolate, lonely-looking gravel road to the area where her son, her innocent son, was buried in an unmarked grave after police killed him, after a police department covered it up and buried this man in an unmarked grave, hoping no one would ever find out. I could imagine how mad they were because they probably thought, oh, he's another statistic, she'll soon give up looking for her son. But that wasn't the case. Batterstein was going to continue to look for her child. And as a parent, I'm 100% on board with that. But I cannot imagine how this woman felt as she was being led to where her son was. Let me make a disclaimer because I'm pretty sure I will step on a few toes with this statement, but it's my opinion. Now, there are a lot of police officers out there who are not dirty. There are a lot of police officers out there that are outstanding cops and they do everything by the book. They don't break laws, they stand up for what's right. And for those out there that's like that, I commend you guys. So this is not in any way thrown to you guys. However, as a parent, I would not feel comfortable walking alongside this police officer. Granted, he's not the one who did it. I get that. But to know that he's actually a part of that police department, did you not know? It's a small police department, so I'm pretty sure everyone that worked there was aware of the situation. I mean, come on. What's the chances of them really keeping this hush hush? So, being that, why didn't you say something? I get you didn't do it, but did you not feel obligated to say, you know what, let me call the parent and let them know what's going on because this isn't right? Or maybe you were scared you would have lost your job. I'm not sure. But as a parent, I would not feel comfortable walking to where my son was buried in an unmarked grave by a deputy that works at the police department because you all stand together. And I really would not be comfortable doing that. And that's just my opinion. You know, everyone is entitled to their own. That's just my opinion. I have to commend Bernstein because this right here took a lot of strength. And I don't know how she did it. I mean, I guess it was by the grace of God. But after 7 months of searching for her son, to learn that he was brutally murdered and laid to rest. Well, no, he wasn't laid to rest. We can say thrown because he was in an unmarked grave. I could not imagine the emotions as a mother that she was feeling on this image. It's just heartbreaking. What behooves me is the fact that Jackson Police Department is still holding on to their story, saying that they did not know the identity of the victim. Now, granted, when the incident happened, maybe they didn't know who he was. But once the body was sent to the coroner, and the coroner made a proper identification by using his prescription bottle, which was on him during the entire incident, once he gathered that information and made that identification, he notified the Jackson Police Department, and they still did not contact Bernstein. This woman was calling them every day, going over there constantly, and they still did not tell her. That's baffling to me. So instead of telling her, they just threw him in an unmarked grave like he was nothing. You know, I'm really going to go there because why is it I feel that the police who actually did this, why is he being protected? You know, I noticed that a name hasn't been dropped. Now, granted, they said he was a police officer that was off duty when the incident happened, but why isn't his name being released? Like, are you guys really trying to protect him? I mean, I get that you're still trying to hold on to the fact that you had no clue who he was, although you did, because the county coroner made a proper identification and gave the information to you guys. So don't say you didn't know who he was. So why did y'all just throw him in a grave, in an unmarked grave? Like, what are you hiding? What else happened? I mean, I'm really questioning this now. What else happened? Because I really feel like there's a lot more to the story. You know, no matter where I turn, this still continues to make no sense. Because they said that after allegedly Dexter was missing, they sent his information to the missing person unit. Now, don't detectives and police officers work together? I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm asking. If the police department knew what happened to Dexter from the get-go after they buried him, why is it that the detectives weren't privy to that information? So you're saying that the detectives did not know anything about him and the incident and them burying him without, the family knowing? I mean, how does that make sense? To add insult to injury, Betterstein had to pay to get her son's remains back. That's right. She had to pay in order to get his remains back in her possession. Mind you, she never asked for him to be buried in that location anyway. So why the hell did she have to pay to get her child back? I mean, that's a slap in the face. I mean, come on now. And while we're going down a rabbit hole, I also found out that this isn't Betterstein's first incident with the Jackson Police Department. In 2019, her 62-year-old brother was killed after a former Jackson officer by the name of Anthony Fox slammed him to the ground during an arrest. The officer was convicted of manslaughter, but is currently appealing. Betterstein can't help to wonder, is this related? I mean, you already had an issue with another police officer with a family member, but now the son? I'd like to send my heartfelt condolences out to Betterstein and the kids of Dexter Wade. Dexter was taken away from you guys, and it is so sad. I mean, I could not imagine what you guys are going through, but I want to send love and light your way. Please know that Dexter will always be with you, and we will stand together until we get justice for Dexter. Rest in peace, Dexter. If you made it to the end of my video, you guys are amazing. But sound off in the comments. I'm really curious to know what you guys think about this situation. Please be mindful and respectful in the comments. Everyone is entitled to their own opinions. I just ask that you keep it cute and be respectable. Until next time.